being likable and being the performative fun girl, and someone who's always had it together. That version of me knew how to distract, knew how to entertain, knew how to smile, everything. Let's find out what happens when I stop protecting the version of me that I built for survival and start showing the version of me that was born for the truth. Hey y'all, we're back and we're on another adventure. Going to meet up with an old friend you've already met on my vlog. We're gonna have a cute little brunch at this like fairy cafe. So the cool thing about Bangkok is like there's a million different cafes, pet cafes, all kind of themes you can think of. They're so creative. Everybody's so creative. So yeah, so this was a fairy cafe and we're just gonna check it out, check out the food. You know, it's organic and all that stuff. And yeah, we're gonna see how it tastes. So check y'all out when I get there. Charlotte's back! And we're at this cute little bistro slash cafe. This is pistachio milk coffee with French chocolate at the bottom. Very good. And what do you have, Charlotte?
Truffle spaghetti.
Truffle spaghetti, okay.
Very good. Mushrooms. Amazing.
You have to trust the Belgium queen to know like where to get the truffle anything at, okay? And the French chocolate. It's really, really good. Earlier this week, I introduced you guys that I was on a mission to unmask and to be a little bit more vulnerable with my audience online and also my friends here in person and my family and just everyone that I meet. So, I would say maybe when did we meet? A few weeks ago? Yeah. So about 2 months ago, me and Charlotte met and, you know, I was very upfront with her about my ADHD. So I'm just like, you know, trying to wear that on my sleeve these days and make it a little bit less, you know, make it a little less taboo as a black woman. So yeah, so what do you think? What did you think the first time that I told you I had ADHD? Were you shocked?
No,
No?
absolutely not. Because in Belgium, where I'm from, we don't. Honestly, it's not a big deal to have ADHD. We don't talk about this a lot. Some people have, but it's not a big deal. It's like hyperactivity for us. And I was like, no, I wasn't like, oh, she has ADHD. It's a bad thing, you know, because if you didn't told me, I couldn't even.
You wouldn't even know, right? Yeah, yeah.
So,
and that's the thing. Just so like the people online they know, like most women with ADHD doesn't show up because we don't exhibit it in the same way that men do. We're not like bouncing off the walls and, you know, we exhibit it in other ways. And we kind of like hyper focus or we hyper fixate or we, like in my case, I'm very forgetful and like my memory is just trash. So yeah, and these are things that, you know, we don't outwardly present to the public. So yeah, I can see that. And so you said in your family,
my sister has it. She was diagnosed with ADHD, but she don't take medicine or stuff, and she lives. I mean,
she was quite normal.
Yeah, quite normal
with that. Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And me, when I met you, your energy matched directly with mine, and you are super smart. And I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
I don't know this.
So it's definitely like different levels, like it's a spectrum. But I don't see it as like a disability or anything. It's just like maybe certain areas of life I just have to work a little bit harder at. And that's the being organized part and the, you know, like really trying to accomplish one task before I start the other part. So, yeah.
With this, you learn multitask.
And
So,
I am multitasking.
Yeah, you know, for
I'm the
me,
queen of multitasking.
It's an advantage and not
Yeah.
a trigger, you know, because
Yeah.
some people, they can just do one thing.
That's true.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's not interesting.
And it's not an interesting life. It's
Yeah.
not an interesting life.
I
Yeah.
don't know, this stuff is very, you know, funny, etc., especially with your memory, but
Yeah.
I think we can, I don't know, I don't have that, but I think we can live pretty normal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's not bad, and I think you are also, this is why we get along so well, because Charlotte is very open-minded. I'm very open-minded. We're just very open people, and we love meeting people too, right? So that makes things a little bit easier, like the personalities that like maybe people with ADHD, like we do well with, right? So people that are a little bit more flexible and they're okay with meeting different types of people with different habits. So yeah.
Do you suffer from it?
From ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah. I take medication. Yeah.
But I mean, do you feel it's like a,
Like
a suffering or in your day-to-day life?
Well, this is the thing. It's like a double-edged sword. So creative wise, like it serves me well. So for creativity reasons, I can really go all out. I can really make up a million ideas. I can really be expansive in the way that I think because of it. Because I can have my focus on so many different things and draw conclusions all at the same time.
Yeah, so that's an advantage.
So that is the advantage.
Okay.
The only downside is like when I need to take action and on these ideas, and I need to produce it into something that is consumable to the public. The action part is where I struggle at, because that requires, you know, kind of like
Investment in one area.
Yeah.
I have the same problem. Honestly, I always have 1,000 ideas.
Yeah.
And when you have so much ideas,
Yeah.
you don't know what to do.
You don't know where to start. You get
Exactly.
overwhelmed. It's
Yeah.
kind of just like, what the heck? So that has always been like a thing for me. But as of late, as of this year, and that's why I stopped smoking the J's, was because like my memory was just, it was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And so I would say if the memory never was affected, I never would have thought twice about taking medication or, you know, actually trying to do something about my ADHD. But just because I was having so much trouble just remembering even parts of conversations, I was like, man, this is not how I want to live. Like, I want to remember. Like, I want to remember what I experienced. I want to remember the conversations I have with people. You know, I don't want it to be this blurry feeling. So that's just the only reason why I really just said I'm just going to try to get help. So, but other than that, I think it's a blessing. And I don't feel, you know, I don't feel the stigma that most people feel about it. Maybe because it's a little bit less obvious. Like, people don't really know unless I say it. But yeah, I don't feel bad about it. I think it's a blessing at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do.
And when I hear some stuff about ADHD, it's all often linked with a big trauma, like abuse, assault, etc. Is it the case all the time, or it depends?
I think it depends. Yeah, I think it depends, and especially like with women and men, the experience is so different. But yeah, I could see it depends on their upbringing and their environment that they grew up in. But yeah, abuse, even substance abuse, could be a part of, you know, the condition as well. So yeah, I think it's something that people are becoming more knowledgeable about. And go this way. Yeah, I think it's something that people are becoming more knowledgeable and educated about. So like our parents, you know, back in the day, our parents, like, you know, there was no name for somebody that was a schizophrenic or somebody that was bipolar. Like, they didn't have a name for it. It was just like, oh,
crazy.
he's just off a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they just didn't understand. There wasn't enough education.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the same thing, like, with ADHD. Yes, we have a name for it now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, like, in terms of it being, like, a wide amount of social awareness around it,
Mm-hmm.
like, we're still getting there. And it's something that I think, like, especially Gen Z and the generation below that,
Yeah.
I think they're really going to be dealing with it because of technology.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they're going to be born into like this generation of attention disorders. Whereas like maybe our generation, it's kind of like we weren't born into it, but maybe some of us just have it,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, I think it's going to be something that's going to be more mainstream. And maybe it'll be one of those situations where we can get our ADHD medication at 7-Eleven, or you know, maybe it'll be like one of those things where did you take your focus medicine today?
Yeah.
And it'll be a little bit stronger than, you know, the stuff that they sell at the health store. So
Yeah, talking about drugs,
Yeah.
we should
like
find
selling
an
Ritalin at
alternative.
7-Eleven.
yeah, find a natural way
Yeah.
to heal that.
Yeah. And I think there are natural ways.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we're talking about gold.
Gold. Liquid gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard a lot about it for this particular case.
Yeah.
So maybe we should try it. I don't know.
Look, y'all, I'm going to be eating gold, drinking gold. I'm already a queen, so we're just going to make sure it's inside and outside.
But I think that the part people should try to avoid is to be stuck in this appellation. You know, my sister, she has it, and when something goes wrong, she said, yeah, but because I have ADHD.
I say the same thing, too. And I'm like, well, it's because of my ADHD.
Yeah, but everything is an excuse,
Yeah.
you know, for her.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, but
They're tired of hearing us, y'all. They're tired of hearing our excuses. Yeah, it's true, yeah. Yeah, I think I was starting to get like that too, and then I was like, I need to just see if I can manage it with some medication and, you know, try to get better at it. Because you can't keep using the same excuse all the time, you know, like you just still have the same responsibilities as an adult
yeah.
to kind of like, you know, like do adult things. So,
I think
yeah.
it's difficult to have a 9-to-5 job when you
Oh my
I
God.
don't know,
Yes.
my sister, she doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
So,
It's very difficult.
yeah.
So I don't think I told you, but I worked in education last year. I worked for a university for like about 5 years. And it was like the hardest thing every day to really stay on a consistent schedule with them. And like I was really good at what I did. I worked online, like I built the online programs, like when it came to building the websites and the structure of the websites and building the course materials in the websites. Like I was extremely talented in the skill.
Okay.
But when it came to everything else, being on time for the meetings, being on time for this, being in this very set schedule,
Yeah.
oh, I struggled. I struggled. And like literally in my resignation, I was just like, yeah, I can't do this in-person thing. Like, I just can't do it. Because I was remote for part of it because of the pandemic. But yeah, just like trying to return from remote after that to come back into a structured schedule, it was impossible. I could get the work done, but it had to be on my time. And that just didn't work. You know, sometimes it just doesn't work in that sense. I think we gotta go this way. Yeah. So, yeah, so I quit, and this was after they, like, extended so they wanted me to work 2 more years until 2026.
Okay.
And I had to turn it down.
Yeah.
I had to turn it down. And I don't regret it because, like,
And now you feel like more freedom.
yeah, I feel like what I do now in my routine, it makes more sense with how I'm wired,
Yeah.
you know? And like, I think everyone is like, oh, the money. But it's just like, you know, you can find ways to make money if you're a real entrepreneur. And it's just better suited for, I think, people with ADHD to kind of be creative or be entrepreneurs where they have flexible schedules, and to where, you know, there's just not this rigid way of presenting yourself. So yeah, just more of a unique type of profession is what I'm saying. So yeah, it's been a journey, but like I said, like if I knew people that had ADHD, like black women especially, if I knew examples of people with it, and it was talked about like widely, if it was talked about at church, or if it was talked about at school on campus, or if it was talked about just in everyday conversations, even with my doctors, like if they did routine checks for it at the doctors, like I may have had an easier time with understanding what was happening with me.
Because at the beginning, you didn't.
No, I don't tell nobody. Like nobody. It's kind of taboo, like in the black community in America.
Okay.
So you know, like it takes time, and maybe my time living abroad too helps me be a little bit more open to finding out what is wrong. What you know, what type of help do I really need? So yeah. So it's been a journey, but like I'm here. I'm proud. Yeah. And just like, and not just with the ADHD, but just like the whole purpose of like my challenge and my case this week is to, like I said, like unmask and to just like be a little bit more vulnerable. Because it's like, everyone is like, be authentic. But it's always easy to kind of be authentic about the things that you're proud of. But you also have to be authentic about the things that you're embarrassed about. You know what I mean? Or the things that you're just like, ooh, yeah, like people may not like respond the way that I want them to when I say this about myself. But like, to me, this case is about sharing your whole self. Flaws first. And just seeing where that takes me, like with my relationships, and also like with my growth and my own confidence as well. So yeah, so I have a whole week dedicated to this. And you're the first person I'm having a conversation about it. Yay, shout out to Charlotte. And so yeah, I'm gonna see how people handle it, and if I'm embraced or if it backfires. So I have like my family that I still have to talk about with it, and you know that might be a little bit harder.
They don't know.
It's one of those things where they think the Lord can fix everything.
Oh yeah.
It's very like, you know, like religious, like you know, upbringing, and it's just like some things we do have to talk about out loud.
Okay.
Some things we do have to like say, hey, like maybe you pray to the Lord, but you also need to take the steps to do what you need to do as a human here on earth.
Yeah.
So the Lord said, get some medication. The Lord said, you know what I mean? Like have healthier habits, and to also like not keep it in the dark. You know what I mean? So like my next like challenge will be to talk to them about it. And then, yeah, and just like also being open online about it as well. So, yeah, thank you so much, Charlotte. I appreciate it. She's amazing, y'all. So, I'll check back in with you guys when I talk to my family this week. We'll see how that goes. Bye.